I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread
Runway awareness OK.
Meters.
No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soared into the light.
Good evening, everyone. A little later than usual today. Once more, we're in Thailand, and this is Bangkok International Airport. This is leg 7 from our world tour, and today we're taking this beautiful plane, this Starlux A350-1000, out of Bangkok, out of Thailand to Taipei in Taiwan. And although this particular plane may not do this flight, being a little bigger, it can actually do it in high density routes. So meaning that even though the plane is a little too big and the range is a little beyond necessary for somehow close flight, it will require it can take a lot more passengers. So imagine that you want to take, I don't know, 500 passengers. You might need 2 or 3 flights on an Airbus 320, for example. Well, Starlux actually flies the A321, but it can take 2 flights in one by taking the 350. So it's possible and it's feasible for any airline, even though the 350 is a little expensive to operate. And the local time, as you can see, we're it's breaking morning, so it is nighttime, and I've spoken with the Beyond ATC staff about this, because Beyond ATC apparently isn't injecting enough traffic. So you can see the airport is pretty much, there's a plane there from Thai Airways, but that's it. There are no more planes around, including on the main gates over there, the taxiways, the jetways, I mean. So there has to be an issue here. I understand at this time in the morning there aren't any flights in and out, but there certainly needs to be more parked planes, not just that tireways. And there's another tireways up there in the left side, and there's this. Apparently, this is a governmental plane. It's sitting right next to us, this 737. But and there's another, looks like a 340 down there, down. So not enough planes. Even though they're not operating at this time, the airport is apparently closed to business, but still, park planes, it needs to be a little more populated. And before we go inside, we need to, as usual, appreciate the dimension of this huge mammoth of a plane. So let's take the pitot and angle of attack vane covers. Let's check our gear here. Pretty good. iniBuilds is great when it comes to modeling. I'm not going to do the walk around. I just want to appreciate this plane. It's so big, and it's not the plane I fly the most. Let's remove the covers here. Look at this huge Trent Rolls-Royce engine. Absolutely beautiful. And this livery does have a few little issues here. Not sure if this is intentional, but anyway. And I just wanted to appreciate the fact that I usually fly the Dash 900, so the smaller A350 that has four bogies per main landing gear. This one has six, so 3 on each side, 12 on the main bogies, and yeah, it looks brilliant. On the only other plane, at least the ones I fly, that have triple bogies are the A380, which I don't fly that much for now, wink wink, and the 777. These are the only planes that I fly with triple bogies, and I can't get enough of this. It looks so good. Now the fact that this one has 3 and this A350-900 has 2 bogies, so 4 on each, while this one has 6 on each. It's just the fact that the plane is longer. That's it. It's longer, and thus it needs a little more weight distribution, so the bogies need to be a little bigger. But that's it. The plane is pretty much the same. The performance, it's actually a little lower on this plane. It has a little more limited range because it's bigger and heavier. And as far as I know, maybe someone watching can correct me, I think the fuel tanks are a little smaller as well. So it's built to take more, but have less fuel, or at least doesn't take enough more fuel than the 900 apparently. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's those are the facts. Let's go inside. Let's go to the cockpit, and again, I always love this part. So let's turn on the plane. I just love the sounds. 4 batteries. Let's wait for the batteries to turn off. They're self-testing. So if one of these fault lines stays on, it means there's an issue. And I'm gonna be quiet now so you guys can listen to the systems powering up. Remember, the cockpit sits right above the main computers, which are in the trapdoor beneath us, and well, the trapdoor is behind us, but the main computer room is beneath us, so the sound is very present in the cockpit. Let's listen. Whoop. We can't listen because the sounds are muted. My bad. Oh, that was a big fail, wasn't it? Alright, let's try again. I'm going to turn it off. Alright, let's do it again. I know we should never do this in real life, but it is what it is. So let's do it again one more time. Being quiet now. That was anticlimactic. There's a plane actually, either landing or taking off. I can hear another airliner, jet plane, somewhere to my right. Well, that was a very anticlimactic. What you hear when you press the external power is the computer's turning off, and there's a series of crackles and bips. and that's what you get. So let's just prep this one to go flying. I'm just getting everything ready to go, making a few shortcuts as well because I don't want to waste too much time. And looks good. Alright, let's get some storm light here. First of all, let's get this one on, and now we need the storm light, which is... Remember, boys and girls, when you fly different planes all the time, you tend to forget where stuff is. There it is, there's a dome light. Let's get some floodlight as well. Integrated light, good. This one's good. Everything looks peachy. Alright, so let's load our flight plan. So let's go here to Flight Ops, Simbrief Report. There we go, from VTBD, this is Bangkok International to Taipei, correct. Let's Simbrief Report, set the zero fuel weight, set the fuel, instant refuel, and the plane's loaded. We're not going to trust GSX to do that for us today, because we've seen how that can go very wrong. So here's our flight plan from Don Muang International to Taiwan International. We are going to get a cost index of 200. That's whoa. Zero fuel weight is 186.9 predicted, which is very important for the next phase of our flight preparation. Block fuel is going to be 29.3, and we are expecting a departure from runway 21 Romeo via the Cup 3 Alpha SID. We're not going to pay too much attention for our arrival just yet, because we might need to change it. As for our payload, we're taking 307 passengers and cargo 7.7 tons, with a total payload of 31.9 tons. So again, zero fuel weight is 186.9, and the fuel total fuel is going to be 29.3 weight. And the takeoff weight is 215.6 tons. Nice. Alright, so this is what's predicted. So let's clear this. Now let's get our flight plan. So we're gonna come here to our flight plan. There's nothing loaded, just confirming. So let's go back to init, copy, so request. Now that's been received, we can insert. There it is, and now it's printed. Pretty cool feature. It's stuck right here. So we're expecting again runway 21 Romeo via the Cup 3 Alpha SID, sorry. And this is the arrival, but again, let's not worry about that just yet. Our flight number is WT7. Actually, I like the call sign for Starlux. It's Starwalker. Very cool. I would prefer it to be Skywalker for obvious reasons, but Starwalker is pretty good as well. Alright, so carry on with our flight prep. So we are good to go. IRSs are aligning, 2 minutes left. We are going to set our departure in a moment. Let's go with our electronic checklists. Cockpit preparation gear pins, we have removed them as we were crossing. Our fuel quantity is 29.3. Let's just confirm over here. 29.3 correct. Seatbelt signs are on. Barrel reference, let's open T80s for a moment here. So here we go, we got information Tango. Our wind is 250 at 6 knots, nothing serious. Visibility is above 10 stated miles. Fuel clouds at 2,000 feet. Temperature 29er, dew point 22, quite a humid air. QNH 1008. Arrival runway 21, right departure, runway 21 right and 21 left. So we might get 21 left for departure. Transition level 130. Alright, acknowledge exceeds information. Tango advise the aircraft type on first contact, which we will do. Alright, let's set our barrel reference, so it's 1008. So let's go to set it up here and cross-checked. Alright, now let's set our initial, let's set the flight level here, just in case we get cleared above that. And now we're gonna set our constraints. Fuel R1, let's keep traffic on, and on this side we'll get ID. This will switch to ID as well. Let's get to ARC, and let's get our, we are not gonna get airport navigation just yet until we got ourselves aligned, but it's ready to go once the INS is aligned. Alright, so let's confirm we got our flight plan. There it is. Let's keep on going through performance. This is the takeoff performance. Let's just confirm here the rest of the data. We got throttle acceleration 1010 feet. I just need to see here. There's a transition. So the transition for our Taipei is 130 confirmed. And then the transition for here for Thailand is 130 as well, so this one is incorrect. Let's press here and set it 130,000, and there it is, it's correct now. We're not going to set any pre-sell anything because we need to, first of all, we need to load the plane. So let's go back to fuel and load. Nothing in it just yet, but we can insert the data because we already loaded the plane. So let's go back here to load sheet. 186.9er. 186.9er. In the meantime, I'm going to tell GSX to load the plane.
Boarding requested.
AirAsia, whatever. Zero fuel weight. So enter. Sorry. Zero fuel weight. It's going to be. Actually, zero fuel weight CG. That's what I need. It's going to be 29.7. And the block fuel is going to be 29.2. Let's put 29.3. Oh, what am I doing? 29.3 Amando. And the passengers are going to be the 307, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there it is, 307. And enter. Done. So nav accuracy upgraded. Our INSs are, so GSX is opening the doors. Our INSs have aligned themselves. We already have our cockpit, our airport chart here. So we are going to go for 2 on right. We might just get through Bravo, then Charlie, or we might just go through Bravo all the way to Delta and hold short. That's probably it. We'll see. So that's done. We're going to request our ATC departure clearance. So notifying ATC, we're going to trigger that to VTBD, although that's only going to happen in flight. There we go, and not VATSIM. Let's be on ATC and notified. Alright, let's go to D80, send requests, and send request. Again, it doesn't load the alternate for some reason. I think I talked about that in the last flight. Meanwhile, we finished this. I think it has to do with the fact that Beyond ATC currently doesn't generate anything for the alternate. It only generates for this departure and destination. That's probably the reasoning, but who knows. So we're just gonna keep it here, and we'll consult this mid-flight. Let's see. Let's then request our departure clearance. So we are at gate something. Usually, I don't know which gate I'm at. It's 100 Charlie. All the passengers are loading in. 10. Oh, we need to select it first. 100 Charlie. correct. And our deity's code is Tango. So we're just going to select it here. And press Tango. Enter. Alright, so departure airport VTBD correct. Gate 100 Charlie. Date is Tango. Our aircraft type is an A350-1000. Destination RCTP. We are going to log in on station VTBD. Transfer to mailbox. Send. Let's confirm here that BRTC did. There it is. It did receive it, so it's working. We got also a company message there. That's the DAT's received. Actually, no, there's another message, probably the load sheets. So we need to come here. And there it is. We got a preliminary load sheet. So this is the METAR for our destination, actually. This is the METAR and TAF for our origin. And now there's the preliminary and the final load sheet already loaded. And we got a TC message. Cleared to RCTP runway 21 Romeo, departure via upcoming 3 Alpha, climb via SID 11,000. So let's just reduce this one here. Squawk 6042. So let's bring up the surveillance here. And let's set that squawk there. 6042. Enter. Alright, we'll comply. Just press here and send. And send.
Passenger's bus
We
is
can
coming.
close it. Another bus. There's going to be a lot of buses because this is a big plane. We're taking 300 plus passengers, so lots of people in there. So company message doesn't go away even though we read it. And there's nothing else here. So let's clear all. Still doesn't go away. Yeah, I don't know about that. We had that with the last flight where we were taking the 350-900 so from Emirates, and this company messages don't go away as well. So let's transport, let's set it to auto, and let's keep it on auto. The weather, let's also keep it at auto. Currently it's going to be off as it should. TRA, so squawk is just confirming, clearance confirmed, thank you. Our squawk currently is on, but our TCAS is on
Passengers
standby.
boarding starting.
When we need to turn everything on, like when we're reaching the runway, we can just press the default settings and it will set everything on as needed. So that's good. Alright. So now we can go to our performance and get our takeoff data. So it's going to come here, takeoff performance, sync FMS first. No data on FMS, how come? Oh, I know. Airplane is always right. So we need to set up the departure. So again, it's going to be runway something something. I need to keep this one open here. So this one. So it's going to be runway 21 Romeo, and the SID is upcoming 3 Alpha. There it is. Temporary, insert, and there we go. So now, go to performance, get back to our calculations here. We can now sync the FMS. There it is. And sync the weather. Nah, it's not gonna work. Alright. So now it's synced correctly on takeoff weight. Now I just need to insert the weather. If for some reason the iniBuilds aircraft don't read the current weather depiction, I don't know, 250 at 6. I hate this keyboard. 250/6. And now the temperature in degrees Celsius is 29er. And the QNH is 1008. Done. Now we can compute. I forgot here. So air conditioning on, config optimum, thrust set to flex. Cool. Alright, runway 21 Romeo. We got V1 148, VR 148, V2 153. Flex to temp is 72. We're going to take off with flaps 10 and a thrust reduction at 1010 feet. Our trim setting is 29.1. We can send this to the FMS. And as we get it, it will print. So we got everything here. And now we're just going to confirm 148, 148, 153 confirmed. Flex to temperature 72, flaps 2, takeoff trim is 29.1. Packs will be on, anti-ice will be off, thrust reduction 1010 feet. As our transition altitude 13,000, and our acceleration is going to be right above the thrust reduction. So EO acceleration. So yeah, our thrust reduction is getting out of takeoff thrust and then accelerate into climb thrust. So it's an automated system. There's not going to be a takeoff shift. We're going to take the full runway. It would be ridiculous to take off with the takeoff unless we were empty. So we are expecting a cruise here. We're going to step climb apparently. Let's gonna confirm that. Nope, flight level 390, no steps. So we're just gonna carry on 290 with a cost index of 200. That's a lot. And that's it. Recommended is 390, so we might request a climb to 400 as we fly along. We'll see. Alright, let's go back to performance page. Actually, that's where we are. Takeoff, that's what I meant. And over here, let's go back to flight plan. Cool. Alright, we are just waiting for the GSX to get their passengers and cargo in. And we are almost good to go. And it is the same airplane as the Dash 900. It's only bigger, and when you rotate you need to pay attention not to have your tail strike. But the plane does have that triple bogey we watched does have a certain level of protection to avoid that. And I've actually saw a little promotion by Airbus demonstrating that. So there's a big concern with airplanes that are a little longer than usual. Like when the pilot usually flies at 320 and goes fly at 321, there's always that extra tail, more than the extra nose length. It's always the tail that's a bigger concern. And when it comes to big planes, I mean, look at this. This is a huge plane. This is big, the big plane. And this is a very well. That left two door is closed. Front and back are open. But not that one. Doesn't matter. I actually read that iniBuilds had this fixed, but apparently they didn't, or they did it for the 900 and forgot the 1000. But the doors are closed. That little lady is not going to go long. But let's just open the door for her. Ah, she was already in. No matter. We can of course pay attention to these little details and open that door, but
Passengers bus is
this
coming.
is just cosmetic, and there's still more passengers to come. So we did a good job for the next few passengers to come in and not teleport through the airplane's frame, the door's frame. I mean, yeah, still no other airplanes in the. There's another plane here. Can barely see it over there. It's still the same. It's still the Taiways right there. And there's a few more. There's a little one there, private plane, and there's this governmental airplane, 737. Another Taiways, and I don't know what company, but it looks like a 340 way in the back. And then there's more planes on the other side as well, because I've made a little fly around to see it. But it's disheartening to see such an empty airport, and I know this is a very busy airport, but okay. Again, Beyond ETC told me that it's just a matter of the hour. So since it's so late in the evening, it's I think
Passengers boarding started.
4:50 in the morning or something. Then there's no traffic departing or arrival in real time, because remember, we're using real life traffic. But you know, it's still a matter of modeling planes on idle, waiting for their turnaround in the next morning. And we are gonna take off in the night, but we will be arriving on breaking dawn, so it's gonna be cool. 307 passengers to be loaded. It's going to take a moment. I like this livery quite a lot. It's very sober, although the big Starlux and the 1000 is a little kitsch, but the rest of the decoration is very sober. Starlux is based in Taiwan, so it's a Taiwanese airline. Yeah, I think this is the final bus. Looks like there's 20 people going in, so more than enough to finish the loading. The cargo has been loaded already. That's one of the downsides of flying a big jet, is that turnarounds can take a lot longer than smaller jets, because it's just bigger. It's not just the cargo loading and unloading, you also have to consider the cleaning services. The plane's bigger, more galleys, more loos to clean up, more galleys to fill in, and more seats to inspect and clean, and blah blah blah. Everything takes longer because the plane's bigger. And if you're flying ETOPS, so flying over oceans for a long period of time on twin engines, then you will need to have ETOPS inspections as well. So boarding completed, good. Let's go back in and let's start our APU now. We don't need to wait 3 seconds for this one. Alright, let's go back here and get our checklists. Before we start checklists, parking brake is set. There it is, it's on. Our takeoff speeds and thrust set. We have V1 148, VR 148, V2 153. Let's close the doors now. So we just press this one, and this one. Three doors are closed. Slide arming, and they're all armed. This is of course performed by the crew, not me, but we get what we get. Alright, let's now call GSX and tell them we want to get out of Dodge. We also need to turn on our voice.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
As well as the PA cabin. So this enables us to hear the stewardess or the flight attendants. So I think it's we shouldn't say stewardess anymore, so I apologize. Right, our APU is available.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
We can turn off our ground power. So systems are cycling, being enabled by the APU. Let's put this on arc for Betsy here. Betsy's not with us today.
Locking gear.
Most likely she's in the galley in the back. Let's see. Most likely. Because that's a bug on this plane. There she is. See? It's always been like this. With iniBuilds A350, the co-pilot appears strangely in the back like this, embedded in the furniture. That's funky, but it's not the first time we've seen it. I've reported it. They say I need to reload my flight. It's not worth the hassle, to be honest. Alright, so let's get our bearings. We're gonna tune in our tower. There's only that. There's only clearance in the tower. Oh, there's the ground. Alright, let's tune in the ground. And let's call it in. Ground, Starwalker, Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. Request push and start.
Pull up.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. Down line ground. Push back and engine start approved. Place one please.
What's going on?
Pull up.
Startup approved, push back, and engine start approved, face northeast. Starwalker, Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. What's going on?
Pull up.
Are we getting jammed already?
Pull up.
Really? We are getting jammed.
Pull up.
How is that even possible? We are on the
Pull
ground.
up. Pull up.
Alright, we'll handle that in a moment.
Up.
So we need to face...
Pull up.
We need to face northeast. So we need to
Pull
face... Are the Chinese blocking Taiwan? Is that it?
Pull up.
It's weird. So we need to face nose...
Pull up.
So I'm not going to get this wrong. Nose left, tail right.
Release parking brakes.
Parking brakes released.
Pull up.
We just need to release also the chocks here. Good. Here we go.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Alright, let's start number 2 first. Alright, so we're getting jammed on the ground. I've never seen this, to be honest. And we'll need to decide here something. Either I keep the nose, the jamming turned on, and it will supposedly it will.
السيدات والسادة يرجى الانتباه لاستعراض إجراءات السلام حتى وإن كنت متلوثا.
Okay. Either we'll turn it off so we can have proper navigation out of here, and that's probably what I'm going to do, or it's going to be really tough to get out of Bangkok with the jamming. I think I should have turned to the other side, but it did tell me to turn northeast.
Set parking brakes.
Parking brake sack.
Waiting your confirmations for a good engine start.
Alright. Let's start number 1 now. Let's turn off jamming for now, because I don't need to handle this right now. It is realistic, probably, this area of the world, but not on the ground. So let me turn that off. So we got situations. Where is that turned off? Probably on options. And simulation. Nope. GPS jamming. Alright, let's disable that. Will that remove our failures? It did. But I also forgot this. Typical me. Alright, so now we got GPS back on. We'll turn it on again during flight. I just think that having this on the ground is a little too much. Maybe it's got something to do with the fact there's no planes on this airport at night. Looks like engine 1 is correct, so we're gonna call GSX and tell them that we got a good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
After start checklist, engine NTI is not required. We're gonna get our flight controls tested. Full deflection left, neutral. Full deflection right, neutral. Full pitch up, neutral. Full pitch down, neutral. Full rudder left, full. I know it is.
Tow truck disconnected.
Full
Bypass
rudder
pin
left,
removed.
neutral. Full rudder right.
Left is clear.
neutral.
Right is clear.
Copy. So we have ground clearance, checklist complete. We're ready to go. Let's call it in. Ground StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7, ready to taxi for the active.
StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, taxi to holding point Bravo November Oscar Romeo Tango Hotel, runway 21 right, via Alpha Bravo.
Oh my, that's a big one. Taxi to holding point B North, runway 21 right via Alpha and Bravo, Skywalker Whiskey Tango 7 heavy.
Negative, clarify departure runway 21 right.
Taxi to runway 21 right, StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 heavy. There we go. Alright, so we need to go via, let's get our terminal charts here. Need to go and get our bearings here. So we are here, and we need to go to via Alpha. What am I doing? I got it right here. We need to go via Alpha, then Bravo, then holding point B North here. So it's pretty straightforward. We're gonna drive our little huge car all the way here, turn right, then first left, then we'll be at the runway threshold as required. All right, let's get our sit here, sorry, departures, and this is going to be upcouple 3 Alpha. Where is 3 Alpha? There's a 3 Alpha, but not the one we need. Departure is, oh my god, stop. Our departure will be taking off, turning right, then left on these waypoints, then another right turn all the way to upcup. Let's keep it there. For now, let's taxi this bird. Taxi, wing, and let's get our elapsed time. Oh, what am I saying? It doesn't have any elapsed time, but we can set the chrono to run. Alright, here we go. Parking brake off. Let's taxi. We're rolling. Big plane. There it is. Hit that little plane, I don't think it will. Just gonna go a little bit to the left here, just in case. Let's set flaps 2 for takeoff. Auto brake, turn on. Ground spoilers to arm. Wait for the cabin to be ready. Flap set. Remember, it's a big plane, so don't precipitate on that turn.
StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, contact on main tower 118.1.
118.1, StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, good day. Tower, StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, holding short, runway 31 right. Well, we're not holding, we're reaching.
StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, on main tower, wind 230 degrees, 6 knots, runway 21 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 21 right, cleared for takeoff. StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. So cabin's still not ready. Let's call them, tell them that we are ready. And they should come up as ready as well. Oh, we can also turn off the APU. And if we press takeoff config, we're good to go. Here we go. Saved by the bell, I suppose.
Approaching 21 right.
Confirmed.
On runway 21 right.
Here we are. Good to go. Weather system is on. TCAS set for above. Let's go. Flex 72 SRS runway. TCAS is not. Oh, need to turn on the TCAS. V1. Rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Screen is too bright, can barely see the flight director, but there it is. Thrust set to climb. Done.
StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, contact on main departure 120.3.
120.3, StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, good day. Departure, StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy with you, 1,800 feet, climbing for 11,000.
StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, on main departure, good morning, identified, climb flight level 190.
Climb flight level 190, StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. Alright, let's go back here to our surveillance and let's set to default settings because I completely forgot about TCAS there. That's a memory item, by the way, so should not have forgotten about it. Alright, so we are following the flight plan as we speak. To follow this RNAV SID to upcup. Let's go outside and appreciate this little baby. Come on, give me another camera. There it is. Amazing big jet. The most beautiful airplane ever developed by Airbus and arguably one of the most beautiful planes ever made. Everything about this plane is pure elegance. The lines are elegant, the cockpit shape, the Zorro mask, the wing tips with the embedded sharklets, whatever you want to call it. Everything, even the tail has a very unique design, as you can see. I can't get enough of this plane, so it's a little, so whenever there's the cabin, and there's a pressurized cabin, and then it kind of narrows, and it looks really cool. And even the elevator shape is unique. It kind of reminds me of a whale tail. I don't know about you guys. Everything about this plane is so well designed, and designed with performance in mind, and perform it does. Let's keep flying our SID Standard Instrument Departure. It's charted here. We can see the little plane there. You can hardly see, but I can zoom in for you guys. It does have flight following on chart. There it is. We're going to make a left turn now. Also forgot the weather radar. So we have completed this checklist. Let's go for the after takeoff. Actually, we don't have an after takeoff checklist, but we have a few memory items. So speed check flaps up. Flaps 1 first, and flaps up. That's why the plane was not. The plane was protecting itself, not going into overspeed with flaps deployed. So it kind of stops in maximum flap speed. So kind of prevented an issue there. We got another company message now. Let's see what. It's probably the same message. Last time I checked all messages and I couldn't get that message to go away. So I think it's a little bug there. I observe all messages. Not get that to go away. Oh, that was it. So there's always one message. So we can allow electronic devices again. Let's put it all on auto. Just leave the seatbelt signs on for now. Passing 10,000 feet, external lights off. Some weather around Bangkok, nothing too serious. So we're now south of the city, and it's such a big city. Look at that. Bangkok is just humongous. Such a large city. Kind of reminds me of the American cities like Los Angeles or cities like those there. I'm just used to smaller cities, I don't know. The reason why this keeps moving away is because I'm using the right mouse key to move the camera perspective, because that's what chase plane uses. But apparently that also interferes here with, you see, when I press the left button, it kind of pans, but when I press the right button, it also pans. So I would prefer if this would pan with just one of the mouse clicks, because it interferes with chase plane. Classic transition altitude set standard, and cross-checked. You can also do that on the standby, but I didn't change the altimeter, so yeah, it's already on standby. Some Airbuses have a standby instrument here for, I think it's ADF only, for aircraft that still fly in zones with ADF. And you would be amazed how many still do, although it's a dying type of navigation equipment. So you see, it might not look like much, but this plane will definitely be a little slower than the 900 on the climb, because again, I think the engines and the fuel tanks are the same. The plane is just heavier and there's a different CG, so the plane sits a little longer on it. Well, the CG is pretty much the same. It's center mass of the wing root, but it will affect its the bigger, the longer plane will affect some aerodynamic aspects of it. The differences are marginal, but they're there, and I can feel the plane doesn't climb as fast as the 900, but maybe it's just, you know, maybe it's just overthinking.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, contact Bangkok Control 135.5, have a good morning.
135.5, good morning to you, Skywalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy.
Bangkok Control, Malaysian 527, passing flight level 370, climbing to flight level 380.
Malaysian 527 Bangkok Control, good morning, identified, continue climb to flight level 380.
Continue climb to flight level 380, Malaysian 527.
Bangkok Control, good morning, Skywalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy with you, flight level 160, climbing to flight level 190.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, Bangkok Control, identified, climb flight level 390.
Climb flight level 390, Starwalker Whiskey 7, Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. Let's go to 39 now. We're still in the SID. We've just been cleared to climb to our cruise altitude, but we are still needing to climb quite a lot. And while we're doing that, we'll probably burn some more fuel that enable us to climb to flight level 400 or flight level 410. I think it's going to be given to us. We'll see. For now, let's take care of CPDLC. So we're going to come here to ATC. We're going to connect to... Actually, it's been notified. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Now this is the 80s. So it did request to log on, but I think it tried to log on the ground. So it's now VTBB. So let's connect to VTBB, and then it will auto-tune the next stations. VT. Bravo. I need to press here. Victor Tango. Bravo. Enter. Log on. If not, we need to disconnect and reconnect. And let's turn on Betsy. disconnect and notify again. Log on accepted, so now it worked. Alright, so it was just a station that should have been VTBB on the ground, even though it couldn't tune in, it would tune into PDC, so that worked. Now we are airborne, we need to disconnect and connect to VTBB. However, I think by editing this field, you shouldn't require to disconnect at all. Current ATC, VTBB background control, so we're connected. So for those that don't understand, what I just did was contact the station via data link, so via satellite, and that will enable me to have non-voice communication with the tower, so basically sending and receiving messages over the network. This declogs the voice ATC and enables us to have faster communication and actually be more verbose, because we can write down a lot more stuff instead of speaking it on the radio, clogging it. So it is the modern day type of air traffic control, and it does work really well with compatible airplanes. So we've used this on the Airbus A350 by Synaptic, we've used this on the Phoenix Sim, we've used it on the FS Labs, and now we're using it on the iniBuilds 350. Other planes, it's a matter of trial and error. Some companies do make it compatible day one, others will add the compatibility as they go. But yeah, you kind of need to go test it. I believe, for example, the Tolis 340-600 does not have CPDLC support for Beyond ATC, only for Say Intentions, I believe, or Hoppy, one of those. So you need to kind of test it, and it kind of goes without saying that they're not required to do this. They're not required to have this compatibility. They will do it for you. So if you guys want it, demand it, I suppose. Here we go on the en route chart. We're leaving the SID. As we turn around from upcouple and turn right, we'll be out of the SID. And with that, we're climbing, still climbing for the cruise. So we will just need to wait a little bit until we can compress time and make this a little faster. In the soup. Apologize for that. I can get a better camera to work. No, and we are really in the soup right now. So no point going outside, I suppose. We're right in the soup. So I'm using StrataWX weather injector, and as you can see, car's message, we need to contact, Bangkok, so we'll comply, send, and then we'll contact the next station, 1-3, it's gone before I can pick it up, but Betsy will handle it, there she goes.
Bangkok Control, Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, passing flight level 241, climbing to flight level 390.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, Bangkok Control identified.
So we're now flight level 240 to 390, so you can see how slower this plane can really be compared to the Dash 900, but it's also about being efficient. Ideally, in an ideal world, planes should always be climbing to the top of climb and always descending out of it. That would be the optimal, impossible but optimal pattern or aspect to the flight plan. But since that's not possible, these planes, these more modern planes like the 707 and 350, they will, the 787, not the 707, that's definitely not modern. What I mean is the 787 and the 350 will have their climb rates a little slower so they can be more performative. So they are, we are right now at Mach 0.748, so at 312 knots more or less, I indicated. This is by default, and the reason for that is that it's trying to keep this speed while climbing. It will never get a high rate. If it does get a higher rate, it will decel. So given that this plane is heavier, it will try to keep this speed, sure, but the engines will not, would need to go to 100% to keep this speed and increase the rate. So to save fuel and to be efficient, it will cut off the engine thrust. So now we're at 87.5%, so there's a 12.5% left, and even more because these engines are rated to go beyond 100% if needed. But why would you do that? You would be spending a lot more than the necessary fuel. Remember, we do have a high cost index of 200 for this flight, but that's the 200 cost index on this plane has nothing to do with 200 cost index on the 747 from the mid-90s. Not at all. These are more efficient engines. And look at that, we had some turbulence ahead. I was thinking what I should do about the weather radar, but it's automatic, so. And this is Flight Simulator depicting, so it's going to be, it's not going to be clean, it's going to be like noisy. And then when you do get there, it will probably just fade away, as it usually does. Has nothing with how Strata injects the weather, it's just the way Microsoft depicts the weather, or Microsoft / Adobe, Asobo. Okay, now turn on the dome light, reduce the flood light as well, make it a little more cool. Betsy's sitting in the galley, she didn't want to come sitting next to me today. Let's get a little console light here, as well as a little lamp light, just to get some ambience in. Yeah, much better. A little bright now. And it appears we are out of the soup now. Still some rough weather ahead. While we're doing this, I need to correct this particular video because there was an issue with the way the video was uploaded. There was an issue while I was loading it, and the thumbnail didn't go up. So I'm editing the video right now to add the little thumbnail, which is pretty cool. It also duplicated my live notification for you guys, so I apologize if I spammed your feed. So 2 notifications were sent while I was prepping the flight because the first failed. That's just it. That's what happened. It's not because I wanted to spam you guys, far from it. I don't like to be spammed, therefore I don't spam. I got a lot of feedback from last flight, so I was flying the Airbus A350 from Tallinn to Malta on the new iniBuilds Lucca Malta airfield. And a lot of people commented, not on the video, but sent me a couple of messages, not a lot of people, 2 people sent me a message regarding, they asked me if I mentioned that the A220 did not have, currently did not have a weather, hello Drexy, welcome, currently did not have a functional weather radar. That was something that the team was planning to add later. And one of them asked, one of these people that reached me over Discord, they asked me if with that type of shortcoming,
China Eastern 548 heading, good morning, flight
would I
level
recommend
2090.
the A220? Not this way,
China
A220.
Eastern 548 Heavy, Bangkok control identified.
I'm going to be politically correct. I'm going to answer the way I should answer every time first, and then I'll tell you my honest opinion. So the politically correct answer to that is always buy the plane you know you will be flying a lot. I do these flights, and I tend to, mix flying with different planes, modern and older, and that's just the way I do things. I like to vary my flight patterns, I like to vary the procedures, but that also comes with a shortcoming, which is I sometimes mix procedures between planes, especially if I don't fly them for a while. Just like the 350-1000, I might, or the 350 in general, I might get a little confused with other recent planes I've been flying, like the A320 or even the 220. Actually, the 320 and the 220 are different planes, but I kind of feel the same vibe on the 220 and this one because of the way the cockpit is displayed. But different planes, and when you get to that point, you completely get lost. Sometimes you have blanks, you're thinking, you're second guessing, and yeah, it's not the best thing to do. Now, that's the politically correct one. You pick the plane you know you're going to fly. Don't buy planes because you know. Let's turn off the sequence size. You pick the one you know you will fly. Otherwise, you'll have a full hangar of planes you just don't touch. For example, and still being politically correct, I will never buy a plane that does not have automation for multi-crew. For example, I purchased the L1011 by iniBuilds. Absolutely fearful. I was very afraid that I couldn't fly it solo. Fortunately, the virtual flight engineer is actually pretty good, and it does help you fly the plane. But there's still something in that plane that still makes me not want to fly it that much, because it's very complex. It demands a lot from one single person, and it's not meant to be flown like that. The virtual flight engineer does work the same way it does with the 707, built by iniBuilds, probably, both engineers, but it does work well, but it's not perfect, and you know you're gonna miss one step or the other. And I'm still struggling to understand the L1011 autopilot system. It's very robust, but it demands a lot of attention. It demands a lot of input and preparation to run it. That type of planes scare me, and the L1011 is the one. It's on the fringe that I was very afraid to buy it. So if you're planning to buy a plane and you don't really know how it works, and you don't really feel like you're gonna fly it that much, or it's just another plane on your hangar, I would skip it. That's the political correct answer about the 220. Why? The 220 is very different. It looks like a 350. Even in the cockpit, it looks like a 350, but it's not a 350. So that's a politically correct answer one more time. Now for the personal, unbiased, I think, opinion. Buy it, all right? So the plane is not complete, all right? But the passion of that team is admirable, to say the least. Yes, they take some time to do their stuff. They started as a freeware project. Now it's payware. They took their sweet time to develop it. It's arguable how much work iniBuilds actually put on the plane, but they are very knowledgeable of the plane's limitations and perks, and they're trying to fix it almost on a daily basis. They can't launch any more updates because Microsoft doesn't allow it. You know, Microsoft has this system to approve updates while the plane is on the marketplace, but beginning tomorrow that will not be a problem anymore. It's just apply and send, because as you know, tomorrow the plane will arrive in iniManager, and that you can transfer your license from the marketplace to iniManager, and from then on the team will be able to launch updates on a much regular basis. As for the shortcomings, so it's missing the weather radar. There's a lot of systems that need a lot of tweaking. Aside from the weather radar, which I'll talk about in a moment, aside from the weather radar, all the systems that are on the plane are almost feature complete. I'm being honest. So a lot of stuff on that plane, aside from, for example, the ACAR system that I'm using with the mod tool, it's not available on the default airplane. I'm using a mod. Aside from that, which I think was an actual shortcoming alongside the weather radar, but I think this one's worse, the ACAR system. The plane's pretty much feature complete. Even the missing pages on the FMS are present on the real plane. I'm kidding you. I'm not kidding you. The real plane, the real Airbus A350, is not a complete aircraft. Airbus, and formerly the team from Bombardier that developed the plane, are still working on its certification. They are still working on the software development. And the plane does have little quirks. It does have little things that don't make much sense, or are needing an extra dose of ones and zeros. Whatever it is, the plane, the real plane is, yes, it's not complete. So a lot of stuff that people complain about in 220 is actually missing on the real plane. Actual pilots also complain about it. For example, the plane is incapable of making a direct ILS approach unless you turn on the approach mode when you're already aligned. It will start dancing left and right, and we saw that yesterday. On Tuesday, when I was landing at Malta, I had to use heading, manual heading, to turn the plane slightly inbound on the course. Otherwise I would be flying sideways to the ILS. Is that realistic? I can't tell. I'm not a real life pilot of the A220, but apparently it has some dose of reality there. Apparently the real plane is also a little pesky, trying to intercept a localizer. So it will dance left and right, and it might even miss the proper course. If you turn on the ILS approach, for example, in the base lane, you should only turn it on while you're turned to final. And even then, you might need a little course correction. That's the A220 in real life, apparently bleeding into the simulation. As for the weather radar, so coming down to the weather radar, like I said earlier, the ACARS was added by a modder, but you cannot add the weather radar with the mod because it's a very complex thing to do, and apparently the API is still a bit of a mess from Asobo, and the developers can't really work the weather radar correctly. Now imagine on an A220 that needs to be integrated, not replaced. So it needs to be integrated with the terrain display. So currently the A220 needs an external server running to have the terrain display. So this little button there over here is just a button press, but you do have an external server. I'll show you. You need to download something from the menu here. I'll show you. So it's not running on the airplane itself. So you come here to options, and I think it's third party, There it is. So there's the terrain download. So you need to download the terrain data separately. And when you do that, you then need to load it into the plane. And if there's an update, it will tell you that. I don't think there's been an update every time. But if it does, it will tell you. Why? Because it's running in the background. You don't see it now because we're way too high. When I press terrain, there's nothing here. But, and there's, oh, actually there is. You see the terrain depiction there? Now this is a separate system, so I either have weather or terrain. But on the 220, it's actually embedded. The weather depiction is embedded with the terrain. And, well, you can embed it. It's not embedded by default, but you can have both on screen if you wish. And for that reason, the Synaptic team is having a little trouble implementing that. And I get it. I mean, it's a little thing, and but it is going to take a while for that weather radar to come in, and I suppose it is necessary. I've mentioned that when I was flying to Malta. I did mention that it does make. I mean, I found some weather up ahead. I didn't know if I could fly into it or not because I didn't know what it was in it. In theory, having a weather radar there would help us, but then again, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024, especially 2024 weather depiction, isn't good. So you saw there that there was some turbulence ahead. It did depict that, but is it there really? I don't know, because I've seen that depiction way worse with actual magenta bubbles. And when I flew into it, I didn't get that much of a wind difference, turbulence, or anything of the sort. It's a really weird way to depict the weather. Why? That's just, you need to ask that to a solo. So the 220 not having a weather radar, maybe it's not relevant. So again, if you ask me, should you buy the 220, the Airbus 220 by Synaptic? If you really want a regional jetliner that's very high performance, it's a real fun and joy to fly, very automated with glass cockpit that resembles a 350, and it looks really awesome as well, then yes, go for it. I would go for it. I did. I bought it. I was not given the 220. I actually purchased it, and let me tell you, I think I got my money worth. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. I still think that the plane needs much more updates to get to the point that, performance-wise, for example, plane needs even more optimization. That was just a latest update, 106, I think, was released yesterday, and I think it's a step ahead of another one, but I still have some high frame rates with low frame rates with that plane at some points. It's in busy airports especially. I still have heavy frames with the 350 here. It's still a heavy plane. Did iniBuilds optimize it? Quite a lot, many times, and it still requires work. I think it's my personal opinion, but and now imagine what happens with Synaptic with such a popular little plane as well. So we are reaching the top of climb here, and as we do that, we will need to accelerate time. So let me come here and do that. So I'm not mistaken, it's in options and simulation. Yep. And now we're gonna set it to auto 4. Let me just get my graphic in on it. Auto and time acceleration on. Alright, this will bring our flight time reduced 4 times. theory. So instead of flying at Mach 0.85 as we are right now, we are actually flying at Mach 3.7 something. So yeah, almost Mach 4. Today we got a moon actually. So the moon, oh, there was a plane passing by. The moon does, you guys probably didn't see it because I think the graphic was on the way, but there was a plane passing like lightning speed above us. Far in the distance, but it was cool to see, like a UFO passing by. Like I was saying, there's a moon in your horizon, so you do get some glare that allows you to see the plane at night. So that much. There's a plane coming up straight ahead from us as well. So I think it's actually higher than us. Right there. If we didn't have TCAS, we would probably never. There it is. Oh my god. It's going to trigger a TCAS. It's right in front of us. I think we're going to overtake it. But still. Let's go inside just to confirm that. I don't want the plane to do any evasive maneuvers. No, we're going to pass above it. Still, TCAS should have warned us. It's weird that it didn't.
Bangkok Control, China Eastern 548 Heavy, flight level 365.
China Eastern 548 Heavy, Bangkok Control identified.
So I need to contact the next station. We're just going to put it here en route.
Benton Control, Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, flight level 390.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, Benton Control identified.
I wish you could.
727 Heavy, contact Bangkok Control 13.15. Contact Bangkok Control 13.15.
I wish we could have an option for beyond ATC to have like an option to have the onboard comps slightly higher than the non-onboard comps. So whenever we talk to ATC, we kind of raise the volume, and then it would automatically reduce, because that would simulate what pilots would do as well. Oh my god, are we going to get a TCAS? No TCAS warning, I hope it's working. Some nose wind, nasty nose wind, actually 12 o'clock nose wind. Putting us behind a little bit. With auto mode, with the time compression on auto mode, the plane will decelerate time to turn, so that's a plus, I suppose. is some more weather coming up, but don't trust that because we are accelerating time now. So that weather is not reliable. We're flying towards it, but it's not reliable. All right, let's see where we are at. We're now in Vietnam airspace actually, but we still didn't leave this peninsula here. And when we do, we will be entering China airspace, and then Taiwan. Everybody knows about their jurisdiction conflicts, but let's not dwell into that. It's out of the scope of this channel.
StrataWX Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, Hanoi control identified.
Here we are in Vietnam control, Hanoi. It's going to be this chunk of ATC space, and then we'll get to another one right after. I think that's already China airspace. Not sure. I think it is, yes. This bit here. Or is that Hong Kong? Maybe this is Hong Kong. So this is China, mainland China. This is, not sure which control it is. And then this is Hong Kong control, and then
Scooter 186 Heavy, contact center control 130.2, bye bye. Center on 130.2, Scooter 186 Heavy.
Fortunately, this time there's only one airport in mainland Taipei, in the capital city of Taipei. Because last time, as you guys know, not last time, a couple of flights before, flying to Colombo in Sri Lanka. There are two airports in Colombo. One is the one I wanted to go, Bandara Naik, and the other one is just Colombo International. It's actually called Colombo International. But apparently either the airport has been deactivated recently. I don't know its history, but there are no charts for it. And how could that be? How could this be an international airport and have no charts? And so I mistakenly picked that one during my flight planning. And because there are two airports in Colombo called Colombo International, but one is called Bandara Naik and the other one is called Colombo. My bad, my mistake. The same thing almost happened to Bangkok. So there are two Bangkok International airports. The one I took off is the most active one. I don't know about the other one. It appears that it's a little less active, or at least not as prolific. I don't know. Whatever happened, I picked the right one that time. And now I dread for example, for Tokyo, there are two major airports. There's Narita and there's, what's the other one? There's Narita and another one. I'll remember in a moment. Actually, Haneda, that's the one. Haneda is actually much busier. It has like 90 movements per hour or something like that. It's absolutely crazy of an airport. While Narita is still impressive with its 60 movements per hour, but it's not as impressive. But in any case, you can fly to either of them and be okay, but apparently Narita serves more international flights. So they're both international, but Haneda seems to be more focused on regional or internal domestic flights, and it serves the entire country to and from Tokyo, while Narita kind of serves the international long haulers and cargo freighters and all that. And but you would be excused for mixing Narita with Haneda, but you're not excused to mix the two Colombo airports, because one of them is absolutely not controlled. I don't know what's going on there, but there are no charts. I don't even know how Beyond ATC was actually able to compute traffic in and out of there. I don't know, maybe there wasn't any traffic, but in the middle of the flight I was able to reload the flight plan, so I remade the flight plan to the actual airport I wanted to fly to. Alright, and then I had to reload Beyond ATC with a new flight plan, and I
Center
had to
control,
force
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy,
to
flight level
reprogram
390.
the plane itself.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, center control
Crazy fast.
identified.
You saw that? That was a plane passing right here. Very fast. You can actually see there.
Center control, Japan Air 33 Heavy, flight level 400.
Japan Air 33 Heavy, center
this
control
is
identified.
Chinese control, Sanya. Probably related to this little island here. Is that an island? Could be a peninsula. No, it's an island. And then that's Hong Kong right there. BHHH. That call sign is Hong Kong. I was actually divided between going to Hong Kong or Taipei, or even any airport in mainland China, but I wanted to fly south because I wanted to make it a little more scenic, especially believing that I was going to land in the morning, which currently doesn't look like it. I hope I am. And between Hong Kong and Taipei, Hong Kong is a lot closer to Bangkok. I didn't want to make it that close because I would need an extra leg then to go to Tokyo, and going to Tokyo from Hong Kong or Taipei, it's marginally closer from Taipei, so I just pick it for that. I've no intentions or reasons to go to Taipei.
Fernando 331 Heavy, contact Ho Chi Minh Control 120.7.
Contact Ho Chi Minh
Xanadu.
Control 120.7,
That's a nice
another
call sign
331
for an
Heavy.
airline. Xanadu. Now remember there was this rock band called Xanadu. I'm not sure if it was Portuguese, so that name stuck. I don't even know if they were good or not. That was an ANA airplane, by the way, that crossed us. All Nippon Airways, Japan. I love this call sign, Starwalker. Pretty cool. I'm pretty sure there's also a Skywalker call sign, but I never caught it. I caught it listening to it, but I never caught what airline it was. So I don't know exactly who Skywalker is on in terms of airline call signs. But there are many other cool call signs like Moonraker. I think that's from High Fly. Moonraker. That's a James Bond movie, if I recall correctly. And then there's a lot more cool ones. I kind of like the EasyJet call sign for I think it's EasyJet Austria or something like that, but they call themselves Alpine. Alpine is very cool for a call sign. It has nothing to do with EasyJet, but it's pretty cool. Some people like the Speedbird call sign for British Airways. I personally have no opinion about that. I think I've heard it so many times it kind of becomes bland after some point. Then there's the flagship call signs. They're bland, but you kind of like to hear them when you hear them, like Air Portugal, my home country, and I kind of like it. Olá, Tom Farr, boa tarde, boa noite, aliás. Hello, Drexy, welcome back. There some people chatting here on the YouTube chat. Someone asked me if I would stream on instead of streaming on YouTube, if I was willing to stream on Twitch, because apparently the community there is bigger. I'm not so sure about that. For me, YouTube is simpler. I mean, it's simple to use Twitch. I'm not saying it's not simple, but for me, it's simple to use YouTube, and I think the community is larger overall. The audience is larger. I mean, peças de PC. So Tom Farr is here asking about my PC hardware. I'm atualmente estou a usar um AMD CPU AMD. I don't know my own computer, so I'm trying to figure out my computer as I speak, which isn't good. So I think AMD Ryzen 7 9800 X3D 9800X3D. And I have, as a graphics card, I have a 5080 RTX 5080 RTX 5080 and 64 RAM, 64 GB de RAM, e estou correndo no SSD, diz que SSD NVMe, SSD and NVMe SSD. You can't do anything today without an NVMe, I suppose. So we got an ATC call.
Sana Control, Indonesia 860, flight level 310.
Yeah, I know, Drexy.
Hong Kong radar,
YouTube
Star
overall
Wars
is
Tango
larger,
7
but I was
Heavy,
told
flight
that
level
the Twitch
390.
community, simming community, is bigger there.
Star Wars Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, Hong Kong radar, identified.
So we changed to Hong Kong control now. So daylight is breaking, guys. Look at that. That's not a good camera. Let's switch to a better one. Look at that. Are we landing in daytime? I think we are. I think we are.
7777, contact Hong Kong radar 125.325.
Contact Hong Kong radar
I thought that was for me.
125.325, Canaan 776 Heavy.
What about the 350? Is it a good buy at this point? When it was launched, no. I can say that without hesitation. I purchased this plane day one and I couldn't fly it for about 2 weeks. It was just crashing and crashing and crashing. I couldn't fly it. I mean, I wanted because I bought it, you know, but I couldn't. And all right, we're going to try to ask for flight level 410. So let's go to. Let me just do that right now. So let's go here to ADC com, request, vertical, climb to 410. Transfer to mailbox, request climb 410 and sent. It's sent. I'm going to slow down time for a moment here. Just to receive that message, hopefully. I just want to increase the performance. What do you think, Drex? You prefer Twitch as a platform? I'm not talking about community size. Just would you prefer it as a platform than YouTube? All right, they have accepted. So let's climb 410 and let's manage to climb. There it goes. Just for bragging rights. Just when everybody else is flying at flight level 350, we can say we are at 410. That's pretty much it. Right, it's been accepted. Close it. So you guys saw that I went here to the vRAAS tool, and it gives us the communication with CPDLC. If you don't want to see that, you can turn it off here, and it will just remove that, as you can filter out the other traffic. You can turn off the auto tune feature, which I find it to be very, very, very handy, as well as the auto response, just in case you want Betsy to respond for you. Betsy or whoever you call your co-pilot, virtual co-pilot. The reason why I come here and see it the way I do is just to confirm that CPDLC is communicating correctly, because there's no indication. I mean, in the real plane, you do have, and you also have here, you come here to the ATC com, you can see here the connection status. So it's active ATC, so it's connected. Oh, we should have ADSC as well. But at the same time, sometimes I don't know if the plane's actually communicating, because it might have froze for some reason. And so I just, when I mean froze in terms of data link and stuff, because I know when the plane freezes I can move my camera when the simulator freezes. But I come here just to confirm that the message has gone through. If it reaches here, so my request, if it reached here, it means that vRAAS received it. If there's nothing here, even though I press send, then there's something wrong with CPDLC. That's the only reason why I have it turned on here. You gotta have an opinion, Drexy. I don't know. Don't you visit Twitch? Don't you have favorite channels on Twitch? Maybe you don't. I mean, I think a lot more people have a YouTube account than a Twitch account. But Twitch is connected to gaming and live streaming much more than YouTube actually is. Live streaming on Twitch is a very recent thing. I would say as recent as about 5 years or so. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think 5, 6, 7 years ago, not more than that. And Twitch is older than that for sure. By the way, we passed the equal time point, so the 50% of our route has been passed, 50% point, as well as
20 heavy, cleared Betty 3 Bravo, arrival runway 25 right.
Cleared Betty 3 Bravo, arrival runway 25 right.
Oh, that's a very American accent there. So that means that from now on, if we didn't have any, so let's say we're flying over the ocean. We're flying from Taipei directly to the ocean. And after the equal time point, let's say the equal time point would be somewhere here. Flying, I don't know, maybe to Indonesia. Not Indonesia, New Zealand.
Ready for descent, United 820 heavy.
Until we reach the equal time point,
Descent to flight level 110,
in terms of
United
performance
820
and
heavy.
fuel consumption, it's preferable to go back. After the equal time point, it's preferable to go to the destination. This in case of an emergency. It has nothing to do with ETOPS, alright? It's just a calculation the plane makes to tell you that you've just reached 50% of your route, and from now on it's preferable to go to destination, to commit to destination, instead of coming back. If for some reason I'm in the middle of the ocean, I can make a proper decision by looking at the ETB. I know exactly, I know for sure, not exactly, that I've passed the point of no return. And so at that point, I need to commit to destination regardless, because I'll be closer to destination than I would be to the origin. And performance-wise, of course, it's preferable to go to that point, because if I go back, I'll spend more fuel, and therefore reduce my autonomy by quite a lot. It's kind of easy to understand. It's a little hard to explain, to be honest, but I think you guys got the point. So, to give you some bearings, this is Hong Kong. This is mainland China. This is the Philippines. And this is Taiwan, our destination.
Quarter 6033, contact Hong Kong radar 132.15, Harbour, good morning.
Center on 132.15, quarter 6033.
Now that I think about it, I think I would prefer to go to Hong Kong. It's been such a long time since I flew to Hong Kong. I used to fly a specific route from Cathay Pacific. I was flying cargo for a non-existent VA anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. But I used to fly for them. And I used to fly the 747 cargo freighter. 747-400 by PMDG, the cargo freighter version. And I would fly out of London to Hong Kong so many times, KTAC. And yeah, I miss Hong Kong. Of course, KTAC is no longer, service, so they closed the airport. But I did that turn to final so many times. And back then there was no real weather injector. It was dubious. It was mostly METAR parsing, and we never got that strong wind that you guys have seen from planes approaching KTAC. But sometimes I would go to Flight Sim's weather system, and I would shift that wind and make it stronger just to have a little challenge. And it was purely visual approach. It was crazy. You would fly to the checkerboard, then turn right, I think. I don't remember. I think it was left turn. It was a left turn out of the checkerboard. So the checkerboard was like a big board that someone placed in a mountain with a checkered red and white. You would fly towards that until you saw the runway aligned, and then you would start turning visually. Everything was visual. You needed to come into a certain altitude. You needed to pay attention to your altitude and speed, and then you would enter a descending pattern. I don't remember the numbers now, but it was in the back of my mind back then. I only flew the 747 back then, so I knew that plane inside out, and I knew that approach quite well. I would say I was master at it. I sometimes overshot the checkerboard or came short, but I was getting good at it. And you know, after hours of flying, we did have time compression back then as well, but it was still a long time to fly. And after those hours landing and missing the landing was the worst when it happened. Fortunately, it didn't happen that much, but it was still a pain in the rear end when you failed the approach. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna keep it here for a little moment. I'm gonna take a little break. You guys know, I always take a little break at about this time. That's my dinner time, and I'll be right back. If anything, if you guys wanted to talk about anything, remember there's a chat running. I'm speaking for the live stream viewers now, and I'll be right back.
7,900 meters.
Strata 186 Heavy, Hong Kong radar identified. Singapore 800 Heavy, contact Title Control 118.905, have a good morning.
Contact Title Control 118.905, Singapore 800 Heavy. Good morning, 11,300 meters.
Redcap 1617, Hong Kong radar identified. Continue descent to flight level 270.
Continue descent to flight level 270, Redcap 1617.
Radar, BG393 Heavy, good morning, flight level 380. BG393 Heavy, Hong Kong radar identified. heavy, contact data control 128.35.
Sensor on 128.35, final ASIN 890 heavy.
And I'm back. Days braking. Was the mic on? You probably heard a few things. Doesn't matter. Got nothing to hide. So the day's braking and look at that. I tried to lower the blinds here, but it doesn't go any further than this. So the sun is right there rising. I guess the pilots could always hide the sun behind the pillar. It's there also for that reason. Alright, let's close in on our map here so we can have a look. I'm gonna prep the descent, so I'm gonna start prepping what's planned. We will probably not get exactly what we are planning here, but if we do, it's a plus. It was. I need to get an off button. Sometimes I press the mute and it doesn't compute because it's not a hardware mute, it is software mute. So sometimes I press the microphone mute, but it doesn't assume for some reason. It's alright. I didn't say anything compromising. Alright, so runway 23 Lima via the 10-1 Bravo approach. So runway 23 Lima. Probably the ILS. I always pick the ILS first, unless I'm giving. We need to check the VIA, and this is going to be the TN1 Bravo approach. Let's pick up the charts here for RCTB. We're going to select the approach first. So hopefully it's going to be runway ILS runway 23 Lima. Spin that one, Cat 2, localizer. Alright. Could be 23 right. Let's check 80. Let's not use this, let's use your points. So let's come here to ATC COM, D80s transition. So let's read this fully. 80s mic. Oh my god, wind 2-2, gust 3-2. That's a strong wind out there. Fuel clouds at 2,000 feet, broken at 20,000 feet. Temperature 30, dew point is 26.
Hong Kong radar, Qantas 7536 heavy, 11,200 meters.
Runway 23 left,
Qantas
23 right
7536 heavy,
used, so
Hong Kong radar identified, continue
either
descent to
of
flight level
these could be
360.
used.
Continue descent to flight level 360.
Lima.
Qantas 7536 heavy.
And then let's go for the arrival. So it's gonna be which one? That's hot. So these are the restrictions. And then we only have 2 approaches, really? Did select TNN something something. Sorry, Tonga. I'm back. Tonga. extension for the approach. And there it is.
VG3903 Heavy, contact Hong Kong radar 132.15.
Contact Hong Kong radar 132.15, VG3903 Heavy.
So we need to go to TNN, which is the final approach point. Not approach, but the final, yeah, the final nav point out of Meno on the TNN. But I don't have that on the charts. How's that? So, arrival. Jamie, April, Drake, Grace. Some pretty cool names. Anyway. Not erase. Let's go back in here. So TNN1 Bravo star doesn't exist. How is this possible? Navigraph is of course updated. The plane is also current. So unless there's something I'm not seeing here. These are all Tonga, Sigang, Tonga. I probably need to pick one that's not available. Oh, there it is. So it's TNN1. Okay, I think I understand now. So TNN1 Bravo is a continuous descent procedure. So we got them out of TNN directly towards the runway, but there's no actual chart for that. Unless this is truncated for some reason. But if it's truncated, it's not supposed to be truncated. Let's select all. See if we can find it lost here somewhere. Sometimes these filters in the bottom, they don't work that well.
Hong Kong radar, Air Hong Kong 561 Heavy, good morning, flight level 400.
Auger, Junta,
Air Hong Kong 561 Heavy, Hong Kong radar, identify, continue descent to flight level 350.
Continue descent to flight level 350, Air Hong Kong 561 Heavy.
I know either one of these will go. I think we're going to
Taipei
get
Control,
Junta.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, good morning, flight level 410.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, Taipei Control identified.
We don't have any TNN1 Bravo chart. Let me go online and search this because it's bugging me. Alright, TNN1 Bravo approach. Let me see the chart for that. Taipei charts.
Cathay 883 Heavy, contact Hong Kong radar 118.925.
I'm searching for the chart. It's not available on my
Heavy, good day.
Yeah, this chart is not available on Navigraph. This TNN1 Bravo. So something's not right. TNN1 Bravo doesn't exist. So we either take it and allow the plane to fly it, because the plane does accept it, or we need to pick another star. But given that I'm going directly to TNN, I don't have much of a choice. So could be Sigang. So where's Sigang? There it is. Sigang, probably this one. Why is it not called TNN? Because it does come from TNN, see? So it's probably renamed Sigang 1 Bravo and not TNN 1 Bravo. Yeah, see, there's no Sigang. So it's gotta be TNN 1 Bravo. So it may be a renamed approach, because it's coming from Andre Barpa Kasar Menon TNN. There's no TNN here, but if we go to plan mode, it's gonna take us right into there. Let me go back to flight plan. Let's just tap. Yep. And directly to Junta. Alright. So, yeah. I may need to wait for ATC to give me some bearings, and I think I got the right flight plan approach, but the
Mascot 963 Heavy, contact Hong Kong radar 132.525.
Contact Hong Kong radar 132.525.
Navigraph
Mascot 963 Heavy, have a good morning.
First time I'm seeing this in a long time. I think this chart here was renamed from TNN to Sigang, but in Navigraph they didn't get the memo. So I'm gonna pin this because I really need to get focused on the approach now. So I think it's Sigang 1 Bravo, so I think it's this one right here. Going to Bravo, then continuing all the way to Augur. So I think it's going to Augur, not Juror. Let's change that. But anyway, ATC can just give me a completely different approach anyway. We'll see. Daytime, guys, daytime. I told you we would be landing daytime. It's only logical. If I'm circling the globe, taking off at late evening from my origin, always flying at pretty much the same time, the time is going to move, guys. So it's only natural. And the next flight will also start in the early morning and probably still at night from out of Taipei to Hong Kong to Japan to Tokyo, but we will probably also land during the morning at Tokyo, and then probably when we take off from Tokyo it will be daytime. So we'll see. Where are we going from Tokyo on? You gotta wait and see. I mean, there are not many places places I can go from Tokyo to circle the globe, but would I make the complete trip to the United States, to Alaska, for example? Or will I go southbound? Doesn't make sense if I'm going northbound, then turn back south. If I wanted to go southbound from Taipei, I would just turn direct from Taipei to, I don't know, New Zealand or something like that. That would be a good destination. Air New Zealand. Lots of cool planes and cool liveries. Oh, I'm no longer away now. Keychain. I need to get a better microphone as well, so the next microphone I get, I'm gonna get one with a big bright LED light telling me either it's on or off. That's gotta be a prerequisite of the next microphone I purchase. But like I said, I spoke in Portuguese, I didn't say anything wrong. It's just privacy, you know. I go away because I want to eat my dinner. I don't want you guys to hear me eat, nor will I want you guys to hear me talk gibberish to my family. But nothing to lose here, so I didn't like share my secrets. I don't have it. And it has happened in the past. I have left my microphone on in the past because it tells me that it's off, but it's not. Like I said, it's a software button. It's not a hardware button. It is a hardware, but it is a physical button. But when we press it, it sends the software command to mute the microphone. And that's when things fail. Back in the day, it used to be an actual hardware button that you press and it would cut off the microphone, period. But that time has passed. Nowadays, these are all USB connected, and when you connect via USB, you kind of, I mean, I still have a microphone here with a mute switch that does mute to the microphone, but it's mostly software. Software just disconnects the microphone and reconnects it. The more I look at this library, the more I like it. It's pretty cool, isn't it? That golden pattern. That kind of, I think that it tends to mimic carbon fiber, like the A350 XWB livery, but then it adds that golden pattern, and it's pretty cool. And the 1000, of course, to symbolize this airplane right here, the A350-1000. The bigger version of the A350. It's not the one with the longest range. Well, it might be in the future, but currently the longer range belongs to the 900 ULR. ULR stands for Ultra Long Range. And recently Airbus put the 1000 ULR to the test. You might have heard about that flight that was airborne for more than 24 hours and non-stop. So that was an A350-1000 ULR by Qantas, not by Airbus, but in the future it will be delivered to Qantas, or Qantas as the Australians say. There's no U there, it's just a Q, Qantas, so they say Qantas. But to me that's Qantas, because there's no Q, there's no U there. I just always said Qantas, but it is Qantas, alright? And the A350-1000 ULR is still not in service. That was a flight test to see how Well, it was also a PR stunt. For anybody that saw it understood it as a PR stunt.
Taipei Control, Vietnam 336, flight level 330.
Nice contrail effects by Tritrisim GFX. That's not original contrail effects. Going into the soup right there. Very pretty picture. Alright, we're just now waiting for ILS to give us our clearance. We'll probably only get that once we get closer to TNN over here. So when we get here, that's when we'll probably get our clearance. So until then, we're still cruising. And to give you an idea where we are, here we are, still south of still our feet wet, still southwest of the island, about to make our turn northbound.
NASCAR 4569, heavy, contact Hong Kong radar 132.525. Contact Hong Kong radar 132.525, NASCAR 4569, heavy, good day.
Weather up ahead. So we can see here that Navigraph en route map draws from the plane. It draws the route according to what the plane sets up. So it is correct. It's just the name of that SID, sorry, the star, that is not correct. So as you can see, we are going from Seagang right here, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. Actually, no, it's not coming from Seagang, it's coming from, yes, it is Seagang, see? So it is correct. It's just that TNN apparently is the it's the identifier for this VOR. It's called TNN, but the name of the VOR is Seagang, and the name of the star is also Seagang.
Taipei Control, German Cargo 500,
but
heavy,
it's
flight
not,
level 270.
that name is not given on the charts themselves.
Heavy, Taipei Control identified.
This is very weird for me, but yeah, well, I may report this to Navigraph, but I think I'm not a local for Taiwan. If there's more people flying in and out of Taiwan, they will certainly report this as well for Navigraph, because this confuses me a lot. But the chart is there. It's just not called TNN. It's Seagang 1 Bravo. Oh, there it is, TNN 1 Bravo. Look at that. Why does it have two names? I saw TNN right here, so I knew it was Seagang and not TNN. But why is it called Seagang 1 Bravo here, and on the plane it's called TNN?
FH902 Taipei Control identified.
It's not iniBuilds' fault, by the way. It's just the way Navigraph injected the air data, the nav data. So it injected on the plane called TNN, but the charts call it Seagang. And who's to blame there? Definitely not me or iniBuilds. Alright, let's wait for our clearance here. Let's just wait for our clearance. This is something that could be transmitted via CPDLC, I think. I don't really know why it's not the clearance. In fact, you cannot request stuff like that, but I would definitely see it in the future being done entirely by CPDLC. So of all the requests, these are all blanked out because they're not available. I think they might be available over a VATSIM, for example, where it's written text, so you can send to the station, but Beyond ATC will not recognize this, so that's probably why it's blanked out. Clearances, we don't need that, we're flying. Speed changes, lateral changes. Although, let me see, can we can request a star. Right, so can we request, no, let's keep it there. I don't know which runway we'll get, so I really want to hear their clearance. If for some reason we get a different runway, for example, I'll try to get a clearance direct to us using a specific star. But in order to request that, you really need to know...
Taipei Control, CAF 035 Heavy, flight level 380.
You really need to know what to ask for. And that's usually something that the flight operations on an airline will help the pilots do. It's not something the pilots just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to change the star for my approach today. That's not the way things work. You fly, you see the predominant winds, your airplane's performance. You can make a decision during the flight, but you need to request it. You don't decide stuff like that. If it's planned to go through a specific star, that's the one you filed during your planning, or the ones that your flight dispatch gave you, or better said, that's the one you're gonna stick to. If you don't, you're not performing as you should. Let's increase the brightness here. It's daytime. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a pilot. One of the things that I really thought it would be very fun, way too much fun, is to follow the sun. Of course, you need to follow the other way around, because we're actually flying towards the sun's direction, not in favor of it. But flying, for example, let's say we would take off from Central Europe and flying towards the United States, to be able to always fly in the sunlight, that was something when I was a kid I thought that would be very magical if I was ever able to do it. But nowadays, I would think if I was a professional pilot, the best thing was the arrival at the hotel. There we go. Cleared for the 10-1 Bravo arrival, runway 20 left, Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. We got the clearance. So that much is okay. Okay, so I just got a message here from a buddy, and he said probably it's a probability. The star we're using right now, as well as all the other stars, may have different designations due to I'm trying to translate here. A different designation due to local acknowledgement of the SIDS and stars. So the locals will read SIGAG while the foreigners will read TNN, and that may have changed. There may have changed due to security concerns. I don't know. Maybe you're right, man. But the point is, and this is something that it says here as well, the point is that both designations are present in the chart. You just need to look at the designation in brackets. That's the one the plane will read, while the other one is just a local designation. And that's true. It is in brackets here. And it's giving me some examples of other airports where this happens. Alright, so good to know. Always learning. I understood what he says. I just suck at translating. Sorry. It's not something you see every day, that's for sure. So given that we will be on an island, I'm going to set my co-pilot's ND to terrain, as we always do. And let's call ready for descent. Taipei Control, Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, ready for descent.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, descend to flight level 200.
Descend to flight level 200, Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy.
Betsy was on the reply mode, which it no longer is. So let's say flight level 200 and open descent. So compared to the last flight on the A321neo from FS Labs, so the second to last flight, I was talking about the fact that VNAV on that microphone, on that flight, on that airplane, VNAV on that airplane was kind of erratic. So when you press open descent, so you press airspeed, you press in, you go to open descent, the plane will go to like 1,200, then back to 800, then back to 1,100, and it was oscillating until it stabilized at 1,000, but then it would go up and down again because it can't apparently keep that descent rate. You can see here the A350 by iniBuilds is perfectly capable of keeping 1,000 feet per minute as documented for open descent. Here's the thing. Either iniBuilds knows best and they modeled that correctly, and I've always learned that that's what open descent does, so I think they're right, or FS Labs knows more than iniBuilds and anybody that I've talked to about this, and they know that the open descent will oscillate. It will circle around 1,000 feet per minute. I think the first statement is the correct one, I'm sorry. Not saying iniBuilds knows best, but it kind of sounds like FS Labs sometimes tries to defend themselves way too much and end up, you know, inventing a little narrative there to circle around an actual issue. I think the FS Labs VNAV is not correct, but I don't have evidence, so I can't present that evidence as fact. So weather is really closed in at Taiwan, as you can see. Very rough weather. It is not overcast. It's kind of scattered. Yeah, more like scattered. But as you're looking horizontally, it kind of looks like it is overcast. As you saw earlier, and we're going to check the DATs again. We're descending now, so we're going to need to prep this anyway. We're going to need to come here to enter our destination data. The plane itself is telling us that. So we need to insert our destination data. So we're going to come here to performance. Right here, we're going to go for the approach, and now we're going to insert the data. So I need to zoom out a little bit, just so you can see as well. So magnetic wind will be 240. Well, the winds have gone milder now. That's good news. So 240. So press the box to edit 240, and that's going to be 9 knots, 19 knots. It's still not that mild, but much more manageable. Outside temperature is still 30, very hot. QNH is 0998. And now for the barrel reference for landing. So let's go here for, again, I'm going to bet on the ILS. So we are on a Class C aircraft, so it's 317 feet for the barrel. 317. We're going to land in config flaps 3. Our VAP is going to be 139. We're not going to add any vertical deviation to the transition altitude is 130. Alright, so good to go. As for the go around, our go around speed, so our reference speed is going to be 193, and we're going to transition again to 1,300, or sorry, 13,000 feet. Alright, so we're now in descent mode. Let's keep it there. It's going to still be on manage until we reach this point here. That's the point of interception for the optimal descent, and that's going to enter our descent mode, manage descent mode. So we see that we got some rough weather ahead, probably just some turbulence, nothing serious. At least it's not raining on the airport according to the DATs, so looks good. Good enough at least. then probably turn right and intercept the ILS, but we'll get that clearance in a moment. Also, we need to set this to below. Oh, there we go. So let's go for our landing performance now that we know the runway as well. So let's insert our weather data again, because why not? 240 at 19er. Temperature is 30. And dew point is not dew point. Altimeter is 0998. Now I think it's still dry, but we'll see. Sync FMS. And our landing weight, please. Again. And again. No, it's not going to give me the landing weight. Alright. So where do we get our landing weight on this particular aircraft? I'm thinking somewhere in the performance chart, but I think I'm mixing up with the A220. I think I am. So it's easy to check it out, actually. It's just a little math that you need to do if you don't have the airplane giving it to you. But let me just confirm. There it is, 194.9, 4.8. Alright, what we got here? Contact with Taipei. Good. Let's send. It's probably the last handover. So 194.8. That's the landing, the predicted landing weight.
EVA 051 Heavy, report ready for descent.
Ready for descent, EVA 051 Heavy.
Alright, and the V speed, we're going to add 5 knots because we're going to use auto throttle.
Descend to 9,000 feet. QNH 0998 hectopascal, EVA 051 Heavy.
Alright, so landing technique will be manual.
Good morning, Taipei Control, Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, passing flight level 332,
so
descending to flight level 200.
Flaps 3.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, Taipei Control identified.
There we go. Alright, so our factored landing distance, which is the one we want, is 1,909 meters, and we got a lot of margin. I mean, we have a stop margin of 1,500 meters if we need. It's about halfway. It's a long runway, 3,460 meters of the landing distance available, so pretty cool. The only thing we need to extract from this calculation is basically the approach speed, and it doesn't give you the approach speed actually. That's odd. What am I missing? It just gives you the landing distance. What about the approach speed? Well, the plane itself calculates the vRAAS, it's 134. But I would expect that to be here as well. Weird.
Again, heavy, contact Taipei, approach 128.5.
Again, I keep flying other aircraft, and I just think that all aircraft behave the same way. And they clearly do not in terms of software. Very close now. We're about 95% of our flight. I say about because the progress bar you see on top of the screen, it's programmed to give you straight line distances. So it's giving you a straight line between Bangkok and Taipei. But of course we need to extend speed brakes. Plane's struggling to keep up with managed descent. Speed brakes out. The cool thing about the 350 is that you can set your... Oh! What's going on there? I think yeah, we just had a complete wind change from nose to tail out of nowhere. That you saw the airspeed reducing like crazy. It was sort of like a wind shear, but we don't have any storm clouds that I can see, and certainly this was certainly a glitch when transferring weather data. So we had like a wind shear, sort of a wind shear scenario there. Passing 25,000 feet or flight level 250. We've still got some weather, very persistent here. We cannot tilt this on this plane. Some planes you can, but let me see if I lowered it. It doesn't say anything. It should give me a tilt indicator.
Descend flight level 190.
Descent flight level 190, StarWalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. So we kind of need to descend a little faster, I think, because we need to get over at least 4,700 feet. So we are still at 20,000, we're way high, but as you can see here, the plane is not really concerned. It's when it comes to VNAV, it's still giving me that.
Captain 881 Heavy, contact Taipei Control 123.4, bye-bye.
Centron 123.4, Kappa 881 Heavy.
And I'm not excited to get into the clouds anyway.
051 Heavy, descend to 7,000 feet, QNH0998 hectopascals.
Descend to 7,000 feet, QNH 0998 hectopascal, EVA 051 Heavy.
Hectopascal, I never heard that being said in the frequency.
Heavy, contact Taipei approach 128.5.
Contact Taipei approach 128.5, EVA 051 Heavy.
Oh, they did tell me to descend lower than they. I completely forgot to. Yeah. No, 190. It's okay. So we are at 190. Plane is intercepting now. A lower altitude because I think we're way too high now. Taipei Control, StarWalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, request 5,000 feet. Let's see if it gives it to me.
Taipei Control, StarWalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, unable to change altitude. Maintain current altitude as per IFR clearance.
Wilco, Taipei Control, StarWalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. Oh. Denied. Denied!
StarWalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, descend to 9,000 feet, QNH 0998 hectopascals.
Descend 9,000 feet, QNH 0998, StarWalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy.
Taipei Control, StarWalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, go ahead.
Don't talk to me anymore. So let's deploy speed brakes again. The plane needs to dive into the soup right there. There are two schools of thought. One says dive the plane into the storm so you can clear it as fast as you can, and the other says stay above it as long as you can and only go down when you really need to. It really goes fast. It likes to go to that edge over there of the managed speed. It's almost going into the overspeed buffer. But look at that, it's going down like a rocket. Let's prep our external lights here. Let's turn on every limitation there is. Set altimeter standard, so 090908. There it is. Standard. Oops, too much. There you go. Yeah, some nasty clouds, but the weather radar cleared, so we're at 10,000 feet, external lights on, and let's get the speed brakes in. So now we're below, as you can see, the VNAV path. I was joking about the schools of thought, by the way. Now it's just a little whip. Of course you need to avoid weather at any cost. Diving into it doesn't solve it. Neither is sticking up there.
Tango 7 Heavy, contact Taipei approach 128.5.
128.5, Star Walker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, good day. Arrival Star Walker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy with you, flight level, 9,800 feet, descending to 9,000.
Star Walker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy Taipei approach, information zero current, good morning, 2NH09098 hectopascals, expect the ILS approach runway 23 left with the over transition.
Expect ILS runway 23 left with the over transition, QNH 09098, Star Walker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. Pretty good call.
Star Walker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, descend to 8,000 feet.
Descent 8,000 feet, Star Walker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. Look at that, we're boxed in. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. Sorry about my lack of singing capability.
All aircraft be advised, information Tango now current, QNH09098 hectopascals.
998, set a cross-checked. We can also set our standby.
EVA 003 Heavy, contact Taipei Tower 118.7. Contact Tower 118.7, EVA 003 Heavy, take care.
That's EVA.
Star Walker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, descend to 6,000 feet.
Descend 6,000 feet, Star Walker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. Reaching Juror, then making our right hand turn to the ILS runway 23 left, so we can, let's keep the CAT 2, but let's remove the vocalizer, we don't need that. Alright, so we are heading towards Ogre, and then out of Ogre, course 184 for the ILS.
Star Walker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, descend to 4,700 feet.
Descend 4,700 feet, Star Walker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy.
Star Walker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, cleared direct Ogre, cross Ogre at or above 4,700 feet, cleared ILS approach runway 23 left.
Clear to cross Auger at 4,700 feet. Clear on last approach runway 23 left. Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. And we go right hand turn. And after that we'll turn on our approach. We got our course and our frequency in. So 119.9. And our course is 234. 111.9, that's what I mean. And course 234, looks good. Let's go for the, we should have done the approach checklist, but let's do it right now. Barrel reference set and cross check. Seat belts are on minimums and are set. Runway conditions, we're gonna set it to dry because I didn't see any rain. Auto brake, let's set up to auto brake medium. So landing dry 6. And alright, looks good. Checklist complete, and then the final checklist will be the landing checklist. And that's going to be just the, we're going to set it complete because that's going to be the ECAM memo. Alright, let's just wait for the plane to turn in, and I don't want to make that little curve there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to heading mode for a moment, and then
EVAR 051 Heavy, contact Taipei Tower 129.3. Contact Tower 129.3, EVAR 051 Heavy.
Alright, we got nav back on. My attempt was to not have the plane do the curve, but apparently it does want to make the curve, so it's gonna just make a little wave. It is more or less like what's charted, it's just looks weird.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, minimum approach speed.
Minimum approach speed, Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7. Alright, let's go into the speed dance with Beyond ATC. Speed check, flaps 1. So our vRAAS is 134, so let's get down there. So it's 141, so it's vRAAS plus 5, sorry. So it flaps 2. We got lock star, lock boxed. And we got Glideslope star. So we now can set our go around altitude of 3,000. Done. Established. Taipei approach, Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy established.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, roger.
There's a airport right there, 12 o'clock. Speed check, flaps 3. Cabin is ready. Let's close down the comms here for a moment. Need to concentrate here. There's a plane.
Skywalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, resume normal speed.
Resume normal speed, Skywalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. Let's stay here. No need to rush. It's a very strong nose wind, 33 knots. Very low QNH as well. Alright, let's give it a little speed then. Flaps 2. Let's increase our speed here. .60 knots. Let's go 180. Why not? Because we can. We're still quite far from the airport, so 180 knots is pretty good. Bye, Drexing. See you later. Wind is getting a little stronger now. Sorry.
$2,500.
2,500 check.
Skywalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, contact Taipei Tower 129.3.
129.3, Skywalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. Tower, Skywalker Whiskey Tango 73 Heavy with you, ILS approach runway 23 left.
Skywalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, Taipei Tower, wind 240 degrees, 18 knots, runway 23 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 23 left, Skywalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. I did not forget the runway, and I got a clear pass. So let's put the speed back in, and let's lower the gear. Gear down. Slats 2. Cam signs on, cabin ready, landing gear going down, flaps set for landing, speed check flaps 3. Landing checklist. ECAM status, no blue, checklist complete. Alright, foot on the pedals.
1,000.
1,000 check. Little bumpy. It's very turbulent. Autopilot disconnect. Well, wind shear. Was that a wind shear? Kind of sounded like a wind shear.
Approaching 23 left.
Confirmed. I'm unsure if that was a wind shear or just a wind change from the weather injection.
500.
I've been reading a lot about wind shear and the way that pilots are instructed to always go into wind shear recovery maneuver and go around. So I'm still training that.
300. 200 minimum.
Continue. A little low. Look at that
100.
EVA fleet there. How many EVA planes are there?
$100, 50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
Touchdown. Auto brakes on. Reverse.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, exit right at 03.
Right at 03 here. Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. Auto brake off. That should have been a little earlier. We got a master caution, auto brake off. That's fine, that's cleared. I should have gone there, but I didn't have enough brake power for that. And then I had too much brake power holding the plane. Waiter off. After landing checklist. Actually, there's no after landing checklist. It's memory items apparently. We exited at Sierra 4. Tower. Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy vacated at Sierra 4.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, roger, contact ground 121.6.
121.6, Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy. Start APU. Ground, Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy with you. Request taxi to company gate.
Starwalker Whiskey Tango 7 Heavy, taxi to stand Bravo 7 by 04 Sierra, Quebec 5, Quebec Bravo 7.
Oh, did you pick that up? I didn't. Taxi to gate Bravo 7 via Sierra 4, Sierra Q, Quebec 5, Quebec, and Bravo 7. I forgot the call sign. It still accepts, but it's rule of thumb to use your call signs. So we're going to go with Sierra 4, then Sierra, then Quebec 5, so probably turn right. Let me confirm that. Using my cheat sheet beyond ATC map. Yep, we're going to turn right. Alright. So we are going to turn right here until we find Quebec 5, sorry. Here we go. Let's turn right. Start clearing the plane. So the taxi line is right here. This is a big plane. The plane does have taxi cameras, but it's not modeled. Apparently only Tolis was able to model taxi cams for the 340-600. No one else could. Do they know more than we do? Or than any developer does? Stay tuned for the next chapter. Alright, and now that's Quebec 4, then we need to go to Quebec 5, which is on the other side. We're going to pass all these EVA planes here. And we're going to perform single engine taxi in. We got APU available, so we can now turn off engine 1. Our flight took us 3 hours and 23 minutes of flight, and we are out of the gate for 3 hours and 31 minutes so far. So we're gonna enter. Alright, so this is Quebec 4. So we need to go to Quebec 5, right? Yep, carry on. So carry on 4th. So until we find Quebec 5, which is probably on the other end. Look at all these EVA planes. Now that's a busy airport. Unlike Bangkok, that was completely empty of planes, or almost completely empty of planes. This one is full of planes. 787s, 777s. I guess EVA doesn't like Airbus. Speed brakes on. Let's engage the brake fence. Alright, this is Quebec 5. It is Quebec 5, so let's hold our speed here. Let's turn in. And now we need to find Quebec and then Bravo 7, which should be to our right. If I'm not, yeah, that's where the Bravo 7 is. Should be right next to this 777 here. There's another Starlux there. Looks like a 350 as well. Or is that a Neo? 330 Neo. Probably a 330 Neo. Yeah, it's a 330 Neo. Kind of looked like a 350 from afar, but it's not. It's a 330 Neo. There's another Starlux. Is that a 350? That's a 350. Alright, sister company. So we are going to the right gate. So now we're searching, so this is Bravo 9. Now we're searching for Bravo 7. Bravo 8. This is the one. Is GSX ready for us? It is. So our right brakes are hotter than the left ones. Because I've been hitting the right brake more than the left, that's why. So I'm going to use the left brake a little bit to turn here. Right, 835K, that's us. Just waiting for the VDGS to come alive. Go to the right. We never turned them on actually. See, this is why I need a co-pilot. Because Betsy doesn't do her job. Stop. Parking brake set. How's the temperature? Now the left ones are also hot because I was using just the left panel. My bad. Okay. So we got a PU running. Let's switch off 2. And turn off the beacon lights. Turn off the strobe lights. Seatbelt signs 2 off. No smoke, no PDs, no mobile. All set. Fuel pumps off for now, and let's bring up the ground equipment. Chokes on, GPU, external power connected, APU bleed off, APU master switch off. Let's go for the parking checklist here. Actually, we already had it here. Parking brake is set, engines are off, wing lights are off, fuel pumps off. Checklist complete. Alright, let's tell GSX we want to deboard.
The boarding requested.
Here comes the jetway. It's going to connect to the L1 door. It should connect to the L2, but I guess front is better than none. Oh no, she's going for the L2. Nice. That's the correct door. Although with 2 jet bridges, one would go to L1 and the other would go to L2, but so far we are only allowed to have 1 jet bridge. And look at that, it can't even reach L2. It can't go that far, because that's not the right jet bridge anyway. So the passengers will float mid-air. Probably. We We are also a little farther than desired, because there's the A350. We should be a little further up front. I never got that with some VDGS approaches. How do you set that up? Doesn't the VDGS know where to stop the plane on the ground, or do you need to have different planes to have different parking spots? I think this has to do with the preset of the VDGS nose-to-nose distance, and that's a fixed value that you need to edit. But if you add it for the A350, then the 319 and the 320s and all the small planes will not be correctly depicted. The stopping position, stopping point will not be correctly depicted. So it's a mess. It's not a good strategy from GSX to have a fixed value. But anyway, welcome to Taipei. We got here in safe and sound, although that jet bridge is going to give us trouble if people try to climb out of the door through it. Flight itself was uneventful. The approach was also uneventful. Just had some small hiccups with procedures because I forgot the landing lights off and all that, the taxi lights in. During flight I also had some hiccups here and there. I'm trying to remember where stuff is. But other than that, it's still a very solid plane, this iniBuilds A350. And today's flight was the 7th leg, a very pleasant leg to Taipei, Taiwan. This is where we're at right now. You can't really tell we're in Taiwan if you don't see EVA airplanes everywhere. It even rhymes. And there's one right there. There are plenty around. Starlux as well, but mostly it's EVA. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, if you did, leave a like, subscribe. It always helps the channel if you do so. Also share with your friends if you think they'll like to see as well. And yeah, I'll be having world tour. The world tour will continue, so I'll having leg 8 soon. I can't really say if tomorrow or later than that, but I'm certainly going to try to make it tomorrow. Until then, guys, remember, keep the blue sky up. And yes, there is a blue sky up there above those pesky clouds you see here. There's always a blue sky. So if you have issues with your life, hang in there. Just wait for those blue skies that will come one day. Cheers. See you next time. Bye-bye.
I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dreams begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dreams begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drums beat. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the